All right, welcome everybody. I just discovered this game. I played the demo for a bit, about 5 minutes, and I thought I wanted to fall in love with it basically. So I thought I would explore it with you guys present. Hopefully I like it. I guess you'll be able to tell from the title of this video, but I don't know yet. We'll play together the prologue and see how it plays out. Comitatus, noun, plural comitati, an arm-traveling company. Vagrus, noun, plural vagri, a venturer, a vagabond, a captain, the leader of a comitatus. Some not Latin. This might be actual Latin, I don't know. It looks kind of Latinish.
The River Realms, they call it. What a fine poetic name for something as rotten and twisted as our land has become. It was not always so. Long ago, the old empire, the noblest and most enduring society created by humankind, spanned almost the entire continent of Zerine, the cradle of man. But after several millennia of progress and incomparable achievements, inevitably, the empire began to fall into stagnation and decadence. Desperately holding on to their privileges and resisting change while trying to avert the collapse of the realm, the emperor and his theocracy took to measures that were worthy of true despots in cruelty. Subjugating weaker realms, enslaving whole nations, strip mining foreign resources, oppressing imperial citizens, war on several fronts, genocide. Eventually, the gods could no longer tolerate such horrors wrought in their name. Foretold by an abundance of divine omens, they descended upon the empire to right its wrongs. Thus, in a chain of dreadful events that became known as the Calamity, they annihilated the empire in a matter of days. The gods then finally saw what they had done in their anger and confusion. It is said that so much grief and shame filled them that they were broken and they left this reality, never to return. The continent and its inhabitants seemed dead, but at length survivors began to crawl out of their hiding holes and faced a land that no longer welcomed them. Arcane anomalies, the fallout of the Calamity, now riddled the continent, and people realized that they had to share their new home with changed and twisted creatures. Terrible beings entered through the cracks in the tapestry of reality, arose to rule over the natives. In time, these new powers rebuilt the fallen empire in their own image, and the River Realms, now godless and vengeful, reincarnated from the ashes. The inhabitants of the land, such as I, now eke out a living under the crushing rule of the new empire. The continent itself constantly resists our every attempt at building a cozy home for ourselves. As travel is dangerous, many ventures specialize in transferring cargo and passengers over bleak and deadly leagues of land. Others try to take everything of value from said travelers, or attempt to find buried treasures among the ruins of the old empire. The leaders of the endeavors are, some say, the bravest men and women of the River Realms. Such a leader is called a Vagrus.
Alright, and that's the introduction to Vagrus, the Riven Realm. As I said before, I've played it a tiny little bit. I played it the demo for about 5 minutes, and then I thought, damn, I want this game. So we're gonna go together, play the prologue, and hopefully have a lot of fun. And by the end of this, I'll be able to recommend it to everybody, or maybe not. We'll see. New game. Oop. We'll go for Wasteland mode, whatever that means. Nothing besides remains round the decay of the colossal wreck, boundless and bare. The lone and level sand stretched far away from Ozymandias by Percy by Shelley.
Ah, yes. A Vagrus. What a profession. Daring and savvy, always watching the horizon, always looking for an opportunity, and of course, for what is best for his comitatus, eh? And you are a Vagrus too, are you not? Many of your kind have I seen in my long life as a vagabond. Care to listen to a story about your exquisite occupation, good master? It is a tale of woe and terror, but it is also a tale that is true, as I have seen it with mine own eyes.
Let's go. This is the prologue. Tell us your tale, old man. It'll at least help kill the time.
Wise you are, good master. My tale is of a Vagrus, such as yourself, but one whose fate was cursed and wrought with ill fortune. It all happened a long time ago. 10 years, maybe more. I was but a passenger, traveling rough roads and forgotten ways with this comitatus, south along the feet of the great mountains of the west.
It looks like there's 2 moons in this world. Look at that. Start Pilgrims of the Wasteland. Loading.
This comitatus I speak of had fallen under hard times. Perhaps it was due to imperial harassment or unfortunate decisions, or simply bad luck. Hierophants, saint of roads, does not always smile on us mere mortals. But however it came to pass, their coin was drying up, and their opportunities seemed few and far between. One of the last chances their Vagrus saw was to travel to the remote town of Scrapheap and spend their remaining funds to stock up on cheap scrap metal. This metal could be sold for great profit over in the east and south. It wasn't a bad plan, truly, but it was not without risks either.
This reminded me of the Sunless games, Sunless Sea and Sunless Skies. At least the format of it. Welcome to Pilgrim of the Wastelands, a standalone story of Vagrus the Riven Realms. It serves as an introduction to the settings and also a tutorial to the game. It behooves you to read the tutorial text and follow the instructions to gain a better understanding of how the game works. The whatchamacallit icon can be clicked in tutorial windows to show what the section is referring to, via a pointer. Note that you have to be on the right UI screen for the pointer to appear. Although Vagrus is an open-world game due to Pilgrims of the Wasteland being a tutorial, it progresses along a narrow, guided path in the beginning and opens up only later, after the core mechanics have been introduced. Hotkeys with F11. On the campaign map, your comitatus/traveling company always occupies a node and moves between nodes through paths. Moving along a path costs movement points. Every in-game day, you have a number of movement points you can spend before you need to camp. To move, move. Thank you. You have a whole bunch of stats up there. Inventory, supplies, defense, attack. I'm not exactly sure what all these guys mean, but hey, we have them. Having gone ahead of the column with a handful of scouts, you watch from afar as your comitatus slowly trudges along broken terrain, making its way south ponderously among dormant geysers. All around you, the hills smolder lazily in the perpetual twilight. Are you alright? Javik's voice resonates with sympathy as he appears next to you on the ridge. You nod slowly, but do not look at him, your gaze lost in the distance where ash cloaks the horizon, the towering mountains to the south and west. You turn to your commis and note his supportive smile. You and Javik have been traveling the realm together for years now. There is no person in the world you trust more than him, except perhaps yourself. I know you feel that your hands are tied, but like I said before, you made the right choice by leading us here. Most stories' events present to attractive text called events. Events that you make different choices at each step. Some choices can have a number of consequences, while others have various dependencies. Dependency means you can only pick them if you have the correct dependence, whatever that means, skills, perks, characters, and so on. Yeah, so as I said before, this reminds me a lot of the Sunless games. They seem to play in a similar manner with text-based, well-formulated text and pretty lines. While oh, look at that! You can see the scroll moving. Oh, that's cool. Looks like the Empire is just straight up the Roman Empire, but slightly changed for being killed by the gods instead of other things. We can't fail. You glance at Javik and notice the worried look he's giving you. You turn away back to the horizon. No reason to be crestfallen yet. We just stick to the plan. Why should it not work? Your friend says cheerfully. You know, there could be hundreds of reasons, but do not feel like reminding him. It might work. The plan. You talked the traveling company into this a few weeks ago, but with each step towards the western mountains, more and more of them have started to have doubts. Such is the way of the road, perhaps. The plan involves a desperate attempt at squeezing a low-selling price for metal bits out of an old contact of yours in the town of Scrap Heap, stocking up on sand metal by spending your remaining coin and bringing the cargo down south around the Molten Tongues to Devon via Avernum and Ash. There's a shortage of metal in Devon, and you know several buyers who will give you a pretty price for your goods, if you can only make it there before many others with a similar cargo. Such contacts are the boon of the long decades spent on the road. But even if Narbo, that villain, gave you an agreeable price in the scrap heap, the road is not without its perils. Sneaking through the gaps between the dead forest and the molten tongue is inviting disaster, so it's not a path many Vegrai would risk, and of course if it fails you're out of alternatives. Do you think Narble will help us out? The old scavenger was never famous for his goodwill, Javik wonders. When the event has blue ticks, you can look for Codex 9. How about Scrap Heap? Ooh, the Codex. The Codex is a collection of entries. If you haven't read it, you made a crystal out next to it. Entries are displayed on the list on the left. You can search and filter. That's a lot of stuff over there. Scrap Heap is a town on the edge of Imperial territory, just north of the Molten Tongues and south of the Forest of Shadows. In the smoldering shadow of the great mountain to the west, Scrap Heap rarely sees sunlight as the skies are forever ashen and overcast. The air is hot and dry, earthquakes are common. Most of the time, Scrap Heap is engulfed in smoke and ash, and a constant reddish twilight is upon it. Surrounded by a low wall, the town is indeed made of scrap and junk, mostly stone with metal scraps, as well as leather and cloth awnings. A single tall tower stands high above the town on a hill, housing a beacon that aids scavenger teams in their return, but also gives home to the Heap King. Inhabitants wear scarves and masks to aid in their breathing. Okay, let's read the history. Well after the calamity, people flocked to the molten kingdom of Denvar, Tar, formerly the homeland of all dwarves on the continent, in order to plunder any riches that remain there, especially the rare metal that is still in abundance in the kingdom. Because Tar is now extremely volcanic and volatile, the scavengers did not dare to dwell in it, only in its close proximity. Thus, the settlement of Scrap Heap was born. The town is not under imperial jurisdiction because the empire never gave a damn about its existence out on the savage, barely inhabitable mountainside, and simply let the gangs and comitati gather and sell their precious metals and ores in one of the border towns. Still, some trade houses sometimes set up a temporary compound here, only to get robbed and driven out months later. Scrap Heap is run by the Heap King, a gang lord who organized the previously chaotic and warring works teams, right? So is our contact going to help us out? We can only hope. If he's not willing, we must find a way to compel him. He has to help us out. He won't be able to pass up the opportunity to make us indebted to him. Even the thought of selling yourself in such ways makes you feel dirty. If he's not willing, we must find a way to compel him. There's no telling what you would be capable of if it came to that. One can only hope. I haven't seen him in years, but he always did good business. That said, you're not sure he will remember you, or if he's alive at all. I'm sure such cheesy bastards as Narbo would remember all the business we've ever done, Vagrus. Javik runs his chin absent-mindedly. You've seen this expression on this too often not to realize he's using his sorcerer's talents to read your mind. Don't do that. Apologies, Javik rubs his eyes quickly and looks away. You know how it is. It comes to me so naturally that sometimes I don't notice I'm doing it. Your thoughts were loud, Vagrus. I have to actually block them, you see. After joining Comitatus 6 years ago, Javik proved to be an invaluable asset. Not only does he sense moods and thoughts around him, he's also able to subtly manipulate others when he focuses his inner energies. It comes in handy when doing business. Then there are his other perks. A few times you saw him shatter the minds of men and beasts to try to kill him. Not a pretty sight, but a very effective deterrent. Yet, because he is not a trained sorcerer, at least not in the traditional sense, his abilities are sometimes difficult to control. You become accustomed to his impromptu thought scans, while others find it less bearable to be around him. For this reason, he has kept his abilities a secret for many years overall. But you can't keep a secret such as this for long in the close-knit community of a comitatus. Especially not if you keep bursting minds and knowing things you shouldn't. So there are only a handful of your commies who put up with being near him for any extra time. But even so, he has not probed your mind in years, certainly not on purpose, but neither by accident. Perhaps he's less in control now, which suggests he's more on edge about this whole trip than he lets on. You faint smile. Apologies accepted. Let's return to the others and push on. Just make sure it doesn't happen again. A long day of travel away to you. Meh. We'll be fine. Both of you head west to join the column. You go back to Comitatus. The end.
As we were coming up to the gates of Scrap Heap, this trash pile town of cutthroats and scavengers,
We could see the vast mountain ranges of shattered Bivanda Thar looming ominously over the horizon, half shrouded in the gaseous vapors belched forth by the volcanoes in the far west. My companions prepared to do their business in town as fast as they could, not wishing to tarry in this notorious place.
This is about the point where I left off the demo and get the game. So now it's all gonna be blind. Can I see the mountain range they're talking about? Nah, probably not. When a comitatus enters a settlement, you can select from a variety of options, each on a separate pane, revolving around resting, resupplying, and trading. You also have the opportunity to initiate stories located in the settlement. This time, only the story panel is active. Follow the only available story. Over there. Thanks, game. At the foot of the ever-fuming mountains lies Scrap Heath, the town of scavengers. Debris and junk is piled into veritable hills, upon which the rickety homes of the decrepit inhabitants stand precariously. Is that a dragon? Ash lingers everywhere and the sun is almost always absent from the twilight skies. Deals are struck every day and night over the precious metal scraps gathered in the ruins of nearby Dvendar, while the Heap King oversees all. Okay. Track down Narbo. Can he be convinced to help you out? You make your way to the Wraith Stash, a notorious watering hole tucked away in a small street, just beneath the imposing tower of the Heap King, but not quite under its immense shadow. Few frequent the establishment, which makes it perfect for Narbo and his little operation of honest merchants. Apparently the knave is not only alive, but has done well for himself in the past decade or so. Taking only Javek, you leave the Comitatus to take care of Titus, your quartermaster, while you are gone negotiating. Ash is flitting from the black sky as you cross the street and nod to the bouncer of the Wraith's Stash. You give him your sidearms quietly. Rules are rules, at least as long as they can enforce them. Yet they have the courtesy of allowing you to keep your dagger. And of course, they have no idea what Javik is capable of should it come to a scuffle. Not that you expect such a thing, but with Narbo, one never knows. Though you have told your crew that he and you go way back, the entrepreneur is a capricious and manipulative man with whom you did not part on the best of terms. Does he remember that? Surely, could he be persuaded to take your proposal? Who knows? Your eyes slowly adjust to the dimness of the tavern's interior. Only a few candles and a lamp at the bar illuminate the common room. Shadowy faces turn towards you and observe you through the smoke. The bartender, a thick-set man in a dirty tunic, is chewing tobacco serenely. Above the bar hangs the skeleton of a large heap lizard on the display. Narbo is sitting at a table in the back, his bodyguard half hidden in the darkness as the wall behind him. I wonder if this game has lots of BGM. This could go really well with some nice, somewhat relaxing background. It had BGM earlier. Let's not go over to Narbo right away. Maybe we can find some kind of information about him. Walk to the bar. The bartender stifles a belch and nods his greeting. What can I do you for? The way he grabs an air-to-warrior mug suggests that he would probably be best to order something. You glance at Javik briefly before paying for 2 rounds of a local mushroom brew called Ash Tongue. It is somewhat less loathsome than you imagine. Leaning over your drink, you quietly tell the barman that you are here to see Narbo. Are you now? He's doing calculations and you don't like be bothering when he's doing calculations. Indicates Narbo at the corner of the table with a nod. The entrepreneur is indeed busy poring over a stack of papers and fiddling with a calculus. Alright, we can wait. You chat with the bartender while sipping your beer. Most of it is boring small talk, but when the conversation turns into discussions of local prices, you notice Javik's stern expression and the small hand gesture he makes. This is a signal you two have been using for a long time now, indicated that he has gleaned something from the man's surface thoughts. 1 minute later, the bartender goes to the back to check the kitchen. Javik leans closer. There's a supplier of meat and mushrooms that has a surplus on his hands he wants to get rid of quickly. You can help but smile and nod. This could save you quite a lot of coin. Supplier of meat and mushroom that has a surplus. So we can get supplies for cheap. Also, your friend Narbo seems to be having some trouble with a package. In his mind, it is a constant frustration in connection to the Heap King. You nod to Javik and notice how the sleazy merchant has stopped fiddling with the calculus and is now looking at some papers listlessly. It is time. The entrepreneur looks up from a stack of papers in front of him and rubs his eyes. Narbo is a corpulent man with a bushy dark beard and a few missing teeth. Parts of his face is covered in a scar similar to those left by old burns. That, coupled with the withered and mutated left arm that hangs limply at his side, is a clear indication of the taint. The merchant wears a leather... You'd think the taint would be like a blue text, so I could read it. The merchant wears a leather jerkin studded with small bronze and bone coins, a sign of wealth and boldness. His bodyguard, a lithe man with tribal tattoos and an outfit made of leather, moves his hand calmly to a spear that leans against the wall. Narbo's mouth falls open as the spark of recognition flares up in his eyes. No wonder, it's been 10 years. That fucking mate, he blinks. I thought you croaked people. Narbo waves his good iron hand around and looks at the bodyguard. Told tales of your demise. The man finishes his sentence for him as the merchant nods vehemently. That business with Kernak outpost in the storm, Narbo adds. You tell him that you were indeed at Kernak when the terrible arcane storm struck. You describe the horrors of the night briefly. You get how many of your original commentators died there, close friends, old traveling companions. But you walked away unscathed. This was years ago. Sheesh, that fucker Earphones looked after you summoned fierce, eh? Aye. Narbo chucks heartily. But I'm sure you haven't come here to reminisce about good old times, eh? His predatory smile makes you cautious, even though he invites you to sit down with a casual wave of his meaty hand. Sorry about the way we... let's get down to business. You tell Narbo to let bygones be bygones, and instead listen to what you got to offer now. You got some balls coming here all business and bold. After a tense moment, his stern expression turns into a toothless smile. I like it. The bodyguard visibly becomes less tense. Narbo opens his arms wide and bows his head. Let's hear it, mate. You breathe in, time to outline your proposition. Well, some choices have dependencies, meaning you can only pick them if you have the right prerequisites. Some choices involve tests, which can be failed or succeed. Perks, characters, and resources can change the chance of the tests, alright? It's a 100D roll. You explain to Narbo how you want him to give you a discount on a shipment of metal scraps, which you will then smuggle into Devon through contacts you have in the city's underworld. The profit on the shipment will be quite exquisite. You do not name your contact, but divulge enough of her. The plan looks solid. Buyers, you say, are lining up expecting the shipment soon. Narbo sits in silence, eyes fixed on the table as if listening to some noise from afar. He does not cut you off at any time during your proposition. At length, after you've done, he looks up and gives you a weak smile. Sounds like you've been thinking a long time about it, he says as he shifts in his chair. It's a great plan, except for the part where I give you a discount for you asking, and not much else. I don't do that, mate. That would make me, what, an almoner, the bodyguard asks discreetly. That a word? Narbo looks him up. When the man nods, he turns back to you. Aye, an almoner. See, I'm no almoner. You know better good... You know you gotta do better than that. What you got for me? Okay, so we know his secret, so we can exchange it. You're in a bad spot, is your last chance, that's a bad idea. I can use resourcefulness, whatever that is, to up our chances by 15%. A very low chance of success. Plus 6%, so we have a 12% chance, or over there, 15, a 21% chance. That's not great. Let's go with his secret. Let him know in exchange for his help, you can help him out with a problem he might have right now. Narbo's jaw drops when you insinuate that he knows about his little problem. Fuck me, mate, you're better connected than I thought. Or you have something up your sleeve. The merchant says as he eyes Javik suspiciously. For a while he's quiet and looks up and narrows his eyes. Tell you what, I think we can help each other. You're headed to Devon by way of Avernum, yeah? Aye? When you nod, Narbo leans closer and signals his bodyguard. The man with the dreadlocks steps closer and carefully produces a small packet from beneath his leather jerkin, then puts it into the merchant's palm. This your little fella is mighty important to me, see? If you take it out of the city and deliver it to my associate in Avernum, we're even. You get your discount scrap from me. The merchant offers you the package. Javik draws his breath, but before he could speak, Narbo interrupts him. And before Pretty Boy Ear asks, I won't tell you what's in it, and don't even think about opening the package. What I can say is it ain't dangerous to yourself, but you might want to keep it hidden from the dame militia of good old Scrap Heat. You take the package. The way Narbo glares at you makes it clear that you have no other choice. This might just be the opportunity you have hoped for. The package is small enough to fit in your palm. Feels very light and is wrapped in fine leather. You pocket it after briefly observing it. You'll be looking for a man named Skornar in Arvernum. He ain't to be traveled with either. Just tell him I sent you and he'll be fine. You can find him or his men in Lavinus watering hole most of the time. Give this little fella to him and to him only, understand? After you assure him you do, Narbo instructs you to give him an hour, then looks for his people at the market and simply introduces yourself. They'll know what the price they should give you on the metal scrap seat by then. He mentions to his man, you and Javik stand up and make ready to leave. Raver here will take you back to the exit. We don't want to give people the idea that you can come here to beg for almonds now, do we? Or anyone can connect us and run for the militia, for that matter. You know what we came for, now time to leave the Wraith stash through the back entrance and head back to the Comitatus. Your journal located in the bottom left is now active. It is your means to follow stories and tasks. The journal allows you to view tasks and quests. You can search it in filters. Objectives of your quests and ongoing stories. The text of a selected list appears on the right. Unread entries of a blue exclamation marks. Tasks are non-narrative missions and goals you can complete for rewards. There are several types, like trade opportunities, or mercenary work, but in Pilgrims of the Wastelands, you can only find passengers here. Passengers have to be taken to the destination where they will compensate you for the trouble. Be careful because sometimes passengers will leave if you take too long to get to the destination. Qualities can be statuses, gather information, secrets, and so on. Alright. Tasks, new. Oh, we all have a task. A wandering old man. Our passenger. Deliver him to Ash for 1 coin. For a lirg. It's basically bronze, silver, copper. Alright. I mean, that's some money. I don't know how much money that is, but that's some money. Tasks, objectives. Deliver to a man named Scholar in Avernum. Buy everything for the journey at the market. 24 scraps, heats, metal goods. 800 supplies. The awning equipments. Reach a mountain of fire. You must save your comitatus by really okay. The market pane is now active. Navigate to the market by clicking on the icon. Over there. The market pane displays the available goods you can buy at the settlement market on the right and open your cargo pane on the left. The left, the right. You can buy goods in the market and sell your own goods from the cargo here. The maximum capacity is 600/30 slots. It can not be expanded further. Okay. When buying or selling, buy or sell one equipment by clicking. Holding shift will sell whole stacks. Drag and drop over the icons for selling stacks. Holding shift and clicking the icon opens up a window where you can specify the quantity you wish to be. Okay, wait, so shift and clicking the buy button. Shift and clicking the icon. Okay, got it. Purchase 24 scrap heaps. Additional supplies to at least 800 units. We currently have 700. Okay, well, first, buy some scrap heap. If I shift click, that's a whole stack. And that was almost all of our money. Nah, did we just get a whole bunch of new money? Wait, in which direction? Does it go from left to right or from right to left? Are the silver coins the most valuable or are the little copper coins? I think the silver coins are the most valuable ones. So we have 10 gold coins, 6 silver, and 5 bronze. Okay. So we need 50, just 100. Well, okay, 100. Yeah. Shift click. Equipment that you can attach to your comitatus is sold on some markets or found throughout your travels. They provide bonus and upgrades. Yeah, this is really reminding me of the Sunless games. You can switch between markets and goods and equipment using the buttons. Purchase the awnings. Consume less. Linen awnings stretch over saddles and carts to block harmful weather effects and provide shade. It's a harness. Navigation, lamps, sorcery, arms, harness. Equipment needs to be equipped. Equipment can only be placed in a slot that matches its type. Boop. Items, the third type of cargo, over here, do not take up cargo space and are not equipable. They are used and traded in certain events. You can switch panes in a settlement. In the active pane will open the corresponding pane of the comitatus management on the left. You cannot freely check the settlements tab. That story. I don't know what that means. Wait. Items, the type of cargo do not take up yet items here. You can switch panes on the settlement, and the active panes will open the surrounding panes. Management on the left. You cannot freely check the settlement tabs. Okay. When you're exploring, click on the exit arrow to leave the scrap heap. Once you leave, you cannot come back to this place, so be sure to do everything you want to do before venturing forth. Well, why would I buy coal? Essential for smelting and a slew of other industries. Coal is mined near western mountains and the eastern swamps. This seems pretty expensive to me, but it looks like another type of trade good. Let's keep our money for now, though. Walk up to the tower. Perhaps time to visit the Heap King. Walking up to the Great Heap in the immense tower is a daunting task. Up on the hill, it's even more difficult to breathe than in the ash-choked city of the feet. A hot wind blows from the south. Every step is slow torture. By the time you reach the gates of the tower, your chest is heaving and you keep coughing up soot. Before you rise the tower of the Heap King, ruler of this trashed pile of a town. The whole structure is cobbled together with scraps from the lower levels, covered in metal sheets. A huge bonfire of yellow-white flames burns on its topmost level day and night. A beacon for the scavenging teams that follow home. Looking nigh impregnable, the fortress has only one entrance. A small group of guards sneer malevolently at you as you approach. Better turn back if you have no business in your vagabond. You have anything to gain. Have an invitation. Where can I get an invitation? Perhaps you could try licking at my arsehole and see where it gets you. One of the guards says loud enough for you to hear. Might just to stop you without any official business. Wait, no. Directions? I'm no Imperial City guy. If you want to find something great and urgent, give him a few strangers. Not get lost. The Stroll Scrounger's Lane. You and Javik roam the dingy market called the Scrounger's Lane at the foot of the grape heap upon which the towers of the Heap King is built. Ash-covered awnings and dirty stalls line the labyrinthine streets, with stiflingly narrow alleys and tiny squares adding to the general confusion. Sometimes it's difficult to tell a shop from a dilapidated home, or for a good reason. Most people who live here are also merchants to some extent. And even though the Heap King's militia is here to keep you the peace, you can't help but notice the shifty gaze from the deplorable types aimed at you. Scrap heap market. Take a look at the local price and goods. Find the merchants who's willing to sell cheap supplies. Oh, well, it's too late now. We already bought the supplies. You recall a little shop hidden in an alley. Its owner used to peddle dwarven curiosities. Perhaps it's still there. I think we missed. Or we got it. I don't know. 49 to 80. The small shop is still here at the end of the Serpentine Alley, on the south side of the market. Standing outside of it, you notice how it is in much worse shape than you remember. Inside the decrepit scrap shack is an equally unkempt young fellow who hails you with a jolly smile. The shop looks empty. A short conversation reveals that the youngster is the son of the man who used to run this place. His father never came back from a forage into the dwarven ruins a few months ago. Unfortunately, I don't have my dex expertise on dwarves, neither am I an adventurous sort, so by now I sold all these remaining stocks and I'm closing shop soon. Then I'm off and away from the crap heap for good. Go south, maybe then to them Dragonlands. You talk a bit about dwarven culture and his father's obsession with their forgotten technological wonders. You're about to say goodbye when he slaps his forehead. Does it have something that a Vagrus such as yourself might be interested in? He fishes a small brass compass out of his pocket and hands it to you. It's a masterwork, no doubt, sporting runes and detailed etchings. The fellow is willing to sell it for you for a token price. +1 max movement. Seems pretty good. Significantly lower than the local price. Alright, I'll buy it. Cheap supplies is already... It's too late. We already bought the supplies. Depends how cheap it's gonna be. No. The local price and goods. After spending an hour looking at wares, you realize that there is nothing here you would fork out coins for. Of course, there are lots of useful things, but you want to keep the rest of your purse intact should you run into difficulties. There's a veritable army of cut purses working on the market. Alright. I guess it's time to leave. Market, leave settlement. Well, didn't we have a Mencio factions? Didn't we have a another option that we read about in the tutorial? Dwarven compass. Alright. More navigation. Crew, cargo, companion, deputies. I don't remember. I thought we had one more option I wanted to check out, but now I don't remember. Packed up, restocked on supplies, and with all your business here concluded, you finally make it ready to leave the decrepit town of Scrap Heap behind in the morning. You spend the night inside a guarded compound, not for free, of course. For 1 silver coin. Wow, we don't have a choice, so let's go. You set out at the dawn. Ash is flitting from the sky, the distant mountain rumble ominously. In the morning twilight of your comitatus, it reaches the west gate of the town. You notice almost immediately that the militia at the gate is questioning and expecting travelers. Alright, we have a package. You realize that even if they're looking for the package Narbo gave you, there's a minuscule chance of finding it among several departing caravans, all made up of dozens of people. Besides, the packet is tiny and well hidden at the bottom of a sack of dried mushrooms. A road magistrate of the Heap King appears to coordinate such the search effort, picking out people or even whole traveling groups for inspection. As your comitatus draws near, it takes only a passing glance from him to check you and your crew before he motions the guards to let you through. You pass through the gate into the broken wasteland. The comitatus is well on its way, and Scrap Heap is a mere dot on the horizon by the time Javik joins you at the front of the line. Just like I said, you made the right choice with this venture. Talk of how you may have saved us all is spreading like wildfire. Of course, we do have to make it alive to Devon with the cargo, but it's a good start, don't you think? I mean, you did help. Javik smiles as he bows his head and thanks. Not that I fully agree, but it's my pleasure to be of use, and I'm sure the journey will be fine. It's not like we started this business yesterday. With that, you both go back to your duties and the constant monitoring of the horizon. If all goes well, you should reach the Wound in a few days, where you can turn south along the edge of the Molten Tongue and travel down to Avernum. the wound, a chasm. Right? The edge of the molten tongue, a lava river. The journey continues. Plus 3 morale. Yay. Well, your progress is saved at checkpoints. Whenever you leave a settlement, such reaches 3 related checkpoints, as well as the start of each in-game day, your game is automatically saved. Manual saving is unavailable in the standalone story. In the open world game, you can save manually in the game, except during combat. You can load your save games from the middle menu.
There they were, with a full cargo hold and filled with newfound hope. Yet, the road ahead still promised hardships and peril. I travelled with them southwards, expecting to reach more habitable lands beyond the Molten Tongue's river of lava.
Well, we just keep moving. The crew management UI is now active. Click on the sheet in the top left to open it. Here. Crew. The crew management window allows you to manage your comitatus. Morale is the general mood of your comitatus. If it ever drops to 1, there's a chance that the comitatus dissolves and you lose the game. Obedience indicates how satisfied your slaves are. Low obedience leads to theft, runaways, and worse. Be sure to guard your slaves with enough fighters and treat your slaves well, or punish them consistently to raise obedience. Nutrition shows how well fed your crew is. Low nutrition incurs penalties. Extra rations raise nutrition, while starving repeatedly lowers it. Vigor indicates how tired the comitatus is. Low vigor results in penalties on tests and in drastically slower comitatus, which can spell doom quite fast. You can see the current effects of your vigor below the rating. Upkeep is how much you owe your crew. You can pay them at the end of each day or keep collecting debt. Consumption is how much food they consume each day. Running out is death. Workforce is generated by workforce and slaves. So you have to have enough workforce to cover the comitatus needs, including beasts, crew, and passengers. Going below the required number bestows serious penalties. Passengers are people you can take a destination for rewards. You can take on passengers in some events and settlements. They consume supplies. You can see the number of each crew and beast type you have in your comitatus. Consult the tooltip for each type to learn more about their role. Outriders are special because you need a fighter and a mount to be able to create an outrider by using the plus button. While outriders are excellent fighters, mounts without riders carry cargo. You can always dismount fighters using the minus button. Add an outrider, then close this window. The mounted fighter is exceptionally good when attacking, created by mounting a fighter on the mount. How much cargo are we going to lose? Just 3. We have 1 mount, used to haul cargo, create outriders. Each rudderless mount carries 5 cargo. Beast of Burden carries cargo, 80 cargo. Fighters. You need 5 to be poorly defended, 7 to be partially defended, and 10 to be fully defended. Fighters can defend the comitatus and attack other on your command. Once fighters will be lost and have no more fighter on the comitatus, you start losing scouts and workers. Scouts. They return information about adjacent nodes. Workers. Take care of chores. They can fight but not well. You need 8.7 workforce for your workers, slaves, and passenger combined. You can produce 16 for 16. Each worker carries 1 cargo. Slaves. They function the same as workers but have no upkeep and less consumption. So we have plenty of workforce. Consumption 100 per day. So we have about 800 supplies, 700 supplies. 7 days of supplies. Alright, keep going. You have enough movement points and need to camp at the end of the day. Being on the road all day, spending most of your MPs, lowers the vigor of your comitatus. You can replenish by camping. You can also camp earlier than running out of MP, which helps raise vigor faster. Where's my vigor? Here it is, energetic. Say the camp icon to camp. At the end of each day, the comitatus makes camps and settle down for the night. Supplies are consumed and movement points are refreshed after camping. At each camp, you can decide to offer normal or double wages for the current day, independently of whether you pay them or not. Double payment increases morale. You can also choose to pay all your debts to your crew at the time, or accrue payments. The longer you delay, the grumpier the crew gets. Obedience and nutrition also appears here, as well as the option to discipline or liberate slaves. Workforce shows how much workforce is generated by workers and slaves you need to maintain your comitatus. Going below requires values bestow serious penalties. You have the option to give out less or more supplies under rations, which penalize or boost vigor and morale respectively. Right. The lock icon allows you to save the current setting, ensuring that they persist for all subsequent camps. However, the button is disabled until you reach every number to prevent accidentally handing out too many supplies. So it looks like we're going to be supply starved. Under acquire supplies, over there, You can send your crew out into the wasteland to fight supplies and sometimes even other goods. Base chances for these activities depends on your related perks, deputies, crews, and the region. You can also expect yields below each activity. The cost of hunting and foraging is movement points, or vigor, if you're out of movement points. Hunting uses scouts and has a chance to get you a large number of supplies. Crit failure kills your scouts. Foraging is more reliable, but yields few supplies. It can use workers and slaves. You can add them to or remove them from activities. The camp UI hunting and foraging result appears at the end of each day. Ah! The summary of what happened to your crew that day can be seen on the right, over here. You can also talk to your companions using the speech bubble beneath their portrait. Companions heal during camp. The chance of healing or worsening can be seen on the bar below the portrait. Using the button on the right allows you to use medical supplies. Where is that? Using the button on the right. Okay, over there. Medical supplies are quite valuable. Use them wisely. You must also set your defense orders at the night. A more lenient defense has a higher chance of a nighttime ambush and a negative effect on obedience. So why would he be lax? When you set everything up, click the end day button. Okay, so we have some money. We have an upkeep of 3 silver per day. And we already have 1 gold worth of... Okay, well, let's pay them now. Since we have plenty of monies. Obedience. Discipline 1 more slaves to gain obedience. That's diminishing returns. Liberate them to gain obedience. They become workers. Workforce, we have plenty. Nutrition sustained. What will you get with more vigor? Do we get more movement points? Not really. Vigor, well rested. More max march, more defense. This costs 2 movement points. This costs 2 movement points. Send out your workers to forage. You can return with supplies and sometimes other goods as well. For a 60% chance of failure. 70% chance of failure. Well, okay, well, it might fail, but we have the movement points, so why not? Companions. Speech bubble. Ask greetings of Nobles package. Ask greetings of Avernum about what we can expect there. Let's ask about the current things. About the package. Whatever is in it, your friend was really concerned to get it out of scrap heap with none of the wiser and get it to the man in Avernum, excuse me. I sincerely hope you don't plan on opening the damn thing. We're in enough of a predicament as it is, and we will surely antagonize this Stormcar fellow who is in Narbo's mind appears as a tough customer. Some of your friends are clearly afraid of him. Alright? What about Avernum? I remember you haven't been there a long time. Well, Avernum is less of a provincial town like scrap heap these days, and more like one of the great cities of the Empire. Not as large as Devon or Storag's shelter, but it's a busy city with lots of people and commerce. The prefect who oversees the place has their own private thing going on, and he's fairly easy on the crime bosses. At least that's on one of those. At least those that play along. Trade from the region, concentrate on Avernum. Everyone wants their share. Okay. What about whoever that person is? The demon-looking guy. Morven is discussing something with a few scouts when you approach them. She sees you and steps away from her company. Joining you next to the tent in the shadows, you immediately start to feel anxious, as if roused out of torpor by Tarkin coffee. The effects of her Demon King heritage, no doubt. What she thinks of Javik, about her past, about Demon King. What's that? She seems thoughtful for a moment. Now, I can't speak for all of us because there are so many kinds and variants of our race. We are called Demon Kin since it is said that demonic blood runs in our veins. Around us, people feel uneasy or anxious. Each of us has abilities that men of your empire do not possess. I can see in the dark, cold gets me slower, and my skin gets burned less likely than that of humans. It's all very practical. And I have these. She points to her horns and bone spikes. Demon King. Okay. Let's get out of here. We don't have anything else to do, do we? Post guards. You need 7 fighters. You need 10 fighters. And costs 1 vigor. No, or the cost of 1 vigor. Plus 1 obedience, plus 1 morale. Lower chance of ambush. No bonuses, no penalties. Okay. Forging was a failure. Ah, we still got 4 supplies. No events, though. Alright. We can't afford to forage. That'll cost us vigor. We can pay for now. We have plenty of money. Okay. About our supplies. We have 6 days of supplies. That seems enough. After a long day's march under bleak skies and harassed by hot winds, the comitatus finally settled down in a wide ravine. After taking camp shores and checking on all your commies, You go to your tent and tuck in for a night. There are benefits to sleeping out in the wastelands. The silence is quite calming, tranquil even. Only the murmur of distant fire-belching mountains, the whisper of the wind, and the occasional groans of your beast can be heard. Except something else is making a muffled noise that you do not recognize. Your eyes flick open. Something is wrong. What in Tartarus is that? Leaving your tent and passing through the sleeping beast, you are just about to call to your guards when you stumble upon a large quadruped creature covered with fused bone protrusions. It is munching on supplies scattered across the ground, evidently from a torn open sack lying nearby. The creature is Jackra, a wasteland scavenger that hunts in packs. Before you can utter a word, the monster charges you. Out of the shadow, Morwen leaps at it, tackling it aside and cutting it inside with her bone axe. Hey, doggo. He's here now. There are more of these accursed things, boss. Must have sneaked past the perimeter guards. They're trying to chase them off. As he does, you can hear yelling and the sound of battle from around the camp. The wounded Jackra is joined by another one. Right. Time to fight. Let's see what fighting looks like. Companions combat is turn-based, where 1 to 6 enemies fight against your team of 1 to 6 companions. You can use skills of your companions to defeat your enemies, protect your companions, and set yourself up in advantageous positions. Companions combat is made up of rounds. Each round has a specific turns. Combat board is divided into 2 sides, the friendly and opponent side, front row, back row. Okay. The order of the combat is initiative. They add 1 to 6 to their initiative to determine what order they'll go through. Right. Ow. Melee skills can only be used from the front row. They can only be targeted from front row enemies that are adjacent to the attacker's position or back row when there are no front rows, because these blah 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 blah. All characters can move to any adjacent positions. If they move into a position that is occupied by another character, the character is pushed out. Has to be moved. Not only the characters in the front row prevent melee attacks against characters directly behind them, but they also make them more difficult to hit with certain range skills. When you have to want to move, move. Each companion has 4 combat skills besides move, represented by the row of icons. When you select a skill, its stats are displayed. You can select a skill or move by clicking on them. Some skills are highlighted. Unavailable, locked. Unavailable, locked. Well, okay then. Mind Blast. Power 2, ranged. The Javek's telepathic talent is used to burn the mind of the foe, literally frying their brain. Do you have any... Who do I target? Okay, well, whatever. The guy in the back. Morwen's skills include options to push front row enemies back, and to pull back enemies in the front. Some skills are more complex, for example, moving or include the move and an attack, strafe. These type of skills can be used to great effect in controlling your enemies. Use the kick to send the Javek to the back row, denying it an attack. Yeah. Nice kick. You can go to the combat logs to see what happened. The character sheet can be opened by clicking the icon, 3 lines of the portrait. This one over there. The forfeit button at the character's portrait allows you to pass their current turn. Mind Blast. Hypnosis. Moving them as he pleases. Premonition. A whole bunch of buffs. Oh, I can give it somebody else. Right. Hypnosis to move somebody back so they don't have an attack, or you can just bonk them. Nice crit. He lost something. Oh, he's just out of actions, okay. Devastating blow, or just big old bonk. Strafe. Sidestep, then swings the knife sideways to sweep 2 foes. Savage kick. Whiplash. Pull the foe forward. Okie dokie. Seems simple enough. Wonder how complicated it can get in the future. The 2 Jackra lies dead at your feet. Morwen wipes the foul-smelling blood from her axe blade as a guard arrives to talk to her. You okay, boss? Derek pats you on the shoulder. You nod, turning to Morwen as she approaches you. All hostiles taken care of. They got some of the food, but we could take their meat and other parts to make up for it. Okay. Just go back to bed. No, harvest them. Then before going back to bed. Got ivory, supplies, and hides. This was a net positive on supplies, I think. Your chart is not active. You can open the chart. The chart is a tool in navigating the wasteland of Zarin and planning out journeys. You can move around with the left mouse button. You can zoom with the mouse wheel. Your comitatus is represented by the red banner. Any discovered elements or point of interest can be marked by clicking on their icon and choosing a flag icon, which highlights them in the chart. You can also have the options to navigate the codex from the bottom. Please note that although a sizable chunk of the continent is accessible, the rest is not reachable in this murky part of world building. Mark Arvenum. Snag. Okay. Oil field. How do I close this? Wait, no, we're not done. We're not done moving. No, wait. Oh, go back. No, go back. We're not done moving. Unable to break camp. Well, okay, I guess we're just locked here. At least we can still scavenge a whole bunch. Ah, that's why, because the road opens up. Force March allows you to move further than your maximum movement points in a given day. Force March movement uses marching MPs. Marching along path and its cost indicates the red on the campaign map. Although forced marches get you further, use them carefully. Your crew loses vigor and even more morale when you march too often without extra resting. We strongly suggest refraining from frequent force march until you have more experience. High vigor, morale, and well-equipped to become bad commutators are required to force march to have a less negative impact. Wait, what? Okay, high vigor, morale, and a well-supplied commutators are required for force march to have less of a negative impact. So don't force march, but it is a mechanic. Got it. We're kind of losing all of our money though. As the comitatus is killing another stretch of black sand dunes on one of the outriders you had sent out to screen, your left flank rises in from the line and it immediately heads to you. You can see the man is in a panic right away because of the way he hops off the saddle while decelerating and almost falls over. Before he reaches you, your guardsmen are already setting up a defensive perimeter to the east. You beckon to the beast drivers to halt the line. Vagrus, they're coming. I saw them walking over the dunes. The pilgrims are coming. A murmur of terror washes over the comitatus. Clearly your scout was referring to the last pilgrimage. This group of spectral horrors is known to appear out of nowhere and eradicate even large groups of travelers in a matter of minutes. Nobody quite knows what happens to those who can encounter them close up, as nobody has lived to tell the tale. Some reckless people were repeatedly able to take a peek at the otherworldly wayfarers, but during your many years as a Vagrus, you never met such a person whose story was credible. You know all too well that if your outrider tells the truth, and you see no reason why he wouldn't. The only chance for survival is for all of you to run or hide. Well, I think we have a real chance of running because we have plenty of movement point left. Make a run for it. You turn the whole comitatus around and make a haste westward, at the right angle to the espy direction at which the pilgrims are reportedly moving. After an hour of hauling ass, you make the line stop. Scouting parties you have sent out saw no sign of spectral menace, so you turn back and realign with the original direction you were traveling. You lost a lot of time today, but at least now you can say you have come fairly close to the last pilgrimage and live to tell the tale. Less movement. Apart from the lack of pay, we should be fine. We don't have any. We also have plenty of supplies still. 5 days. Heal. Over you guys heal. Alright. I really can't. Now we're out of money officially. So now what? You have 10. Are we almost there? The comitatus climbs the last black dune and comes to a halt on your mark. Standing on one of the carts, you spy the horizon carefully before hopping down and convening with your most trusted. Ahead looms the voidless lake, a place of deathly quiet and utter peril. The lava flows of this particular tendril of the molten tongue cools down here below a tough shell of dark rock, covered by steaming water. Yet the shell is not solid enough in places. It can crack in the blink of an eye and open under one's foot, leading to sudden, scalding death. There are ways to guess where it is safe to cross, but it has to be done slowly and attentively. Your scouts know their way around here, but because the lava changes constantly beneath the shell, they have to rely on finding a new way through each time. The lake is voiceless because everyone has to keep completely quiet. That way, one might hear the shifting lava and the cracking shell, just in time to avoid disaster. Your lieutenants agree that crossing over the far side of the shell is still better than going around into Arena Negras. However, especially after coming so close to the last pilgrimage a few days ago, nobody in their right mind would go near the damn place. What is that? The Desert of the Black Sands. This place is a vast empty desert, where the sand is completely black. I was gonna say grass for some reason. People who enter the desert stay for more... Is there any grass in this world? Before the apocalypse there was. And the center of the desert is a terrible place, the source of all evil in the region. Arx Mortis. Alright. What are our chances? 30%? 18%? Or we could use Resolve for 15%. 2 resourcefulness. How much do we have of resourcefulness? I don't know. I guess we'll use it. Going step by step, listening carefully to any telltale sounds while sweating profusely, every member of the comitatus managed to make it through. After hours that felt like days, you can turn away from this accursed click and head southward. The crew had become animated as you leave the perilous plateau. Just one morale. Where can I see resourcefulness? We have a bigger workforce now, probably because of the higher morale. Crew, companions, deputies, I don't know. We are getting insight, whatever that means. Defended. Cargo. Meh. Don't know. Anyway, we can keep moving.
Just as we were about to leave that damnable lake behind, we heard it. An abominable shriek pierced the air and made us gasp. It came from behind some hills nearby, coupled with the ruckus of battle. The armed women and men of the comitatus looked at their Vagrus questioningly.
Scouts come running towards the court line as you are about to enter the Badlands south of the lake and hear what could only be described as a paralyzing howl accompanied by the unmistakable sound of battle. There's a battle going on, Vagrus, just beyond the yonder hills. The scout points southeast. Some armed folk were being attacked by bloody undead. A murmur washes over the crew and many of them ready their weapons. Not to give aid to the fellow travelers in dire need is believed to attract dire repel to yourself. Besides, it would be better to fight the undead together than alone if it comes to that. The tension is rising with each passing moment, with everyone watching you. Rush in and attack as fast as possible. Approach carefully. Have the scouts tell you exactly what they saw. Use JVSB to spawn the battle. Stand down. Rush. With weapon drawn and shouting to give the men over the hill some hope, you run ahead, followed closely by the fighting crew. You might get in time to save some of these people. Your commies are up for a fight. Just one morale. You clamber over the next few hills and look down upon the site of brutal melee. Bodies are strewn across the field. Most of them are mutilated, undead, but some are mangled and burnt humans in dark clothes. Another such man, a robed priest with a shaved head, falls to the ground after flying half a dozen yards following a bone-crushing hit from a looming, white giant. The creature looks as if it's made up of several bodies, fused by some combination of natural disaster and twisted magic. The rest of the chamberers look like they're smoldering. The great white abomination engaged the two last men standing, a white-faced, lightly armored enforcer with a shield, and a tall man in elaborated black armor, wielding a great sword. Both of them look worse for wear. There's no time to lose. You and yours rush to the aid of the two men. Big old fight. You're the first one that started. You have to deploy your companions to available positions. You don't need to deploy all your companions. Sometimes it is best to avoid sending a wounded companion to battle. You can deploy a companion by selecting the portrait from the roster. You can switch between the defense mode. Wait, what? Before deploying a companion, you can switch between their defense mode, block, or evade by clicking the defense mode button. Defense modes are set to the higher value mode by default. In this fight, some allies are redeployed and will take control of them, but you cannot change the deployment. Morwen is useful in the front. Javik is in the back. Alright. How do I switch their defensive mode? Here. They're in evade mode. Alright, this guy's just died. Can we buff? Some skills can target friendlies. Yeah, I know. In this fight, a lot of Javik skills cannot be used because undead enemies are immune to mind-affecting effects. Javik is far from useless, however. You can use his premonition skill to keep his allies buffed up. Combat is cruel and in general you cannot heal during it. Your defense are your main way to mitigate damage. Evade allows you to completely avoid an attack, but you will be moved to an adjacent unoccupied position after successful evade. That also means that to move far away from a position. A block provides extra RAM after an attack, mitigating more damage, armor, something. However, you can still suffer damage while blocking. Each companion has different attack and block chances, but certain skills are better than others. Let's see. Penetrating, pull, push. I can push this guy and make him lose an attack. Sedarius is a very tough companion due to his high armor and good defense. His skills also include support skill that enhances his stats, and one that debilitates the enemy, both for several rounds. Some skills can affect multiple targets. Sedarius' cleave deals less damage than the single target only strike, but it targets two enemies that stand still side by side. Bane. Less initiative, less accuracy. That sounds good. He rushed forward. And they're switching spots. You, the Vagrus, may not take part directly in combat, but that does not mean you have no means to influence it. Many of your leadership perks allow you to use resourcefulness. What is that? In various ways in combat. Whichever you have unlocked can be found in the leader medallion in the form of buttons along the menus. Consult these tooltips to learn what you can use them for. You have two options now. Aid allows you to revive a downed companion. The button is only active if you have a downed companion. Downed characters do not provide cover from line of sight. Inspire, which gives a substantial defense buff to a target character for 3 rounds. Use Inspire to give a character additional defenses. Inspire. Go. 50% evade. Where's Vengeance for the self buff? More buffs. More buffs. The more the better, I think. Okay. Can I get a double hit? Strafe. Axe sideways to sweep 2 foes. Oh, like this. Okay. Just bonk this guy. 1 damage, huh? How did they get to Javik? What's the yellow bar? Power. Whatever that means. Oh, actions cost power. Cleave. Horizontal arc, a technique that meant to strike more than 1 foe. Like this? Only got 1. Damn it! I can go for more buffs. Overpower the mind. Okay, they are immune to this. Strafe for multi-hit. Yeah, okay. Yes. Yes. Yes, do that. Okay. Okay. Ouch. What happened to Javik? You, the Vagrus, may not take part in the... Yeah. I know. I was there. Oh, you want me to do it again? Oh, aid. Why is he downed? He just downed himself. Oh, damage over time got him. Leave. Well, okay, we missed. We have this many resourcefulness points. Okay, we finally got one of these guys. Just attack this guy, please. Finally. Maybe I should stop using AoEs and go for single targets instead. Vengeance. More buffs. Ow. We're getting hurt, but I'm not sure how much this is hurting us. Is this guy immune to Mind Blasts? Yes. Kick, whip, penetrating, pulls them forward. Won't do much. Ow. What's her name is starting to get quite injured. 2 vitality left. Okay. She's downed. Can I revive her? Not enough resourcefulness. I don't know how many I have 6 resourcefulness. Well, whatever. Whatever. Why did I even do that? Okay. I must have misunderstood how buffs work. Ouch. I can't do anything now. Boost skill. Change defense mode. Replenish some power. Damn it! And Morwen is dead? Question mark? Not the best of first fights. Dead or seriously wounded, I don't remember which one. It's over, the undead finally stopped moving, their bodies lying mutilated all around the hills. The large abomination was acting to pieces and is now a jumbled pile of ash and petrified bones. Some of your crew also got torn up, several wounded and 1 dead. The man in the black armor is the only one of his company who survived the battle. He's sitting on a rock nearby, covered in ash from hacking at the abomination, drinking ponderously from a water skin while he's observing the battlefield. His grim gaze wanders from one slain companion to the other, as if wanting to make sure all of them are dead. At length, his piercing gaze finds you, and a chill runs down your spine. There's no doubt in your mind that that man is, and you need to talk. -1 fighter. You walk up to the man and offer him your hand. He looks you up and down in a fashion that suggests mild contempt. His great sword forged of steel lies across his lap. He does not take your hand. You seem to be the leader of this. The man is looking for the word as he eyes the comitatus. Company of travelers, what is your business here? The bluntness of the question, coupled with the man's evident hostility and ungratefulness, leaves you speechless. Perhaps it's for the best. You notice the man is wearing a symbol of Surgogod, the god of vengeance, anger, malevolence, and curses. A member of the triumvirate, one of the 3 gods of the Empire's official religion. We're a trading comitatus. So you're tuning up here as a matter of utter coincidence, I take. When you assure him it is, he narrows his eyes and pierces you with his gaze. There's a tense moment that seems to take forever. You are truthful, Vagrus, commendable. The man rises from the rock. He towers over you now, and it dawns on you that the warrior he carries makes him either very rich or a very powerful person in the metal-starved world, or both. I am grateful for your assistance in this skirmish, late as it was, he says, turning a look to Javik, who appears at your side and bows his head to the man. Without acknowledging your friend or his greeting, the armored fellow turns to you again. My name is Cedarius. I'm a knight of the Ordris Negra Solis, the Order of the Black Sun. Yeah, okay. It's just Latin. By aiding me, Vagrus, you have aided the Imperial law. You must have some question on your own. Now is your chance to ask them. About the fight. My company was drawn here with the false promise of finding the hideout of enemies of the Empire. Instead, a large group of undead surrounded us, most likely drawn here by some vile trickery. Ask him what he plans to do now. I can't because I need to have the quality trap sprung. Ask about what he was doing here. We're in search of enemies. About his companions. My companions lie dead. There's nothing else to do now. The Knightly Order. The Order of the Black Sun is one of the Fulcium Imperium. The Fire Empire. The Pillars of the Empire. Alright. What do you want to do now? I intend to return to Avernum. I have to debrief my superiors there of what happened today, and I also want to look more into the lead that ultimately brought me here. Darius fixes you with his gaze. Your destination does not happen to be Avernum, does it? You can't able tell him the truth. You are too well aware that lying to one of the Knights of the Black Sun is high treason. It is the first time you see Darius' malevolent smile. Good, I shall join you for the journey. Aerofons teaches us that to share the burden of the road. Now tell your men to pile up the bodies of my companions. Burning them without the proper rituals was not becoming of such heroes of the Empire. But we have no time for much else. I also gather all the belongings while you're at it. Make it happen, Vagrus. In the meantime, someone skillful enough should take a look at my wounds. You're able to leave to give the order once Darius calls after you. And just so everyone knows, the danger may still be looming over us. The traitor who I was supposed to find must be around here, keeping a distance. They surely would have finished me off if I managed to conquer all the 100 by myself. As the Comitatus is crossing into the Badlands, you climb onto the cart where the resting Darius is sitting in the back. You can see that he's holding something small in his hand and is observing it attentively. The fetish charm, one of the kindly sister in the disciplines of Ashkull used to attract the reanimated dead. The knight tosses you a small bone charm, complete with arcane writing in black ink and some teeth they attach to the centerpiece. I disabled it, do not worry. These filthy traitors may have used a stolen charm to ensnare my contingent, but I'm still anointed in the faith of Ashkull, and I swear they will suffer for this atrocity. Give the charm back. There's also the matter of the belongings of my fallen comrades. I expect you to hold on to them until we reach Evernon. We'll discuss them there. Whether you like it or not, you are bound to the knight for the rest of the few days to come.
The Dark Knight joined us after we rescued him from the clutches of the mindless undead horrors that slaughtered his companions. He was a grim sort, displaying no gratitude or companionship. Yet we were stuck with him, for a lawman such as the Knight could make his dreadful will ours by command. So we set out, bound for Avernum, the greatest city in the vicinity.
Let me do some crew management. I think we can afford to have one more outrider. We've eaten through so many supplies. Leader management is not active. You can click on the medallion, open the leader window. The leader window allows you to observe and interact with your character, the Vagrus. Your current insight is displayed at the top right. Insight is gained mainly through events and can be used to purchase perks and other improvements. Perks are abilities that have levels and are used in various situations. Initial and maximum perk levels as well as available blah, 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 blah. You can purchase any number of perks if your insight allows you by clicking on the empty nodes. Select and purchase the Prepare Leadership perk. Prepare. You can use your soulfulness to place a companion at the front of the initiative order in companion combat. What's reverse? Turn March point into movement points. Use your soulfulness to reveal available contracts and settlements. How many do I need to buy resourcefulness? You cannot exceed your current maximum resourcefulness and it can never exceed the episode maximum. Related status effects become ineffective once you reach that level. But how do I get resourcefulness? Ambition, wealth, calling, trader, human, Tiberius Aburo, authority. How many assigned deputies you can have at any given time? Okay, so you need to spend insight to get more resourcefulness. We have 6. Can also buy more. I need persuasion. That sounds good. And also, perception is good. Costs 2 insight. Oh, I can't. Okay. Leadership perks are perks specific to Vagrus. Each of them lets you use resourcefulness to boost your actions in certain ways. Resourcefulness allows you to boost various actions. It replenishes each day. Its maximum can be raised by spending insight on it. What you can spend resourcefulness on depends on your unlocked leadership perks. Aid, boost, raise level of companion skills in companion combat, command. Unlocks advanced action as well, the ability to use resourcefulness to raise combat strength in crew combat. That sounds pretty good. I don't know how to do this though. Authorize the maximum number of deputies you can have. Click on the helmet icon of the leader medallion to navigate to the companion panel. The helmet, over there. The companion pane allows you to view and manage your companions, characters that join you in your travels. Their stats are displayed, they have combat skills. The scroll icon at the bottom of the companion's page can be used to reveal their backstories. Click the arrow to name to see Morwen's character sheet. Morwen. She has been downed. 1 armor, 20% evade, 1 vitality. Oh, perks. Lots of perks. Similarly, the dependent icons can be clicked to reveal the available gear the companion can equip into 1 or 2 slots. Gear is shared among all companions, but only one of them can wear it. You can equip Morgan with the Luck Talisman gear. Luck Talisman. Plus 3 accuracy, plus 3 evade. How do I... Alright. Click on the laurels. This is the prowess window, where you can upgrade your companion's prowess. It's the general power level of the companion ranging from 1 to 9. Each unlocked level of prowess gives the companion an amount of proficiency points that can be spent on upgrading their perks. Raising prowess, so it's basically a level. It's basically another word for level. Raising prowess means they have more levels, and then we have skill points. Prowess costs insight from the leader. In the main campaign, level 4, 6, and 8 of prowess can only be unlocked after the companion's storyline progresses beyond a certain point. In the Pilgrim of the Wasteland, companions can be upgraded up to the 3rd prowess level. Perks, description, and proficiency costs can be observed by clicking on their names. Deputy perks, combat traits, and combat skills are unique to companions. They get passive bonus in combat. Upgrading works the same way as with leaders. You can spend any amount of proficiency. Okay. Upgrade their prowess and purchase any perks or skills you'd like. This costs 4 insight. We get 12 proficiency. Prowess 3, mighty 2. What do you mean mighty 2? What does that mean? Mighty tough. Plus 2 lure away, hunting, chase, base chance, more foraging. Only 1 proficiency for these 2 thingies. Hunting. Plus 2 lure away. Plus 2 lure away, plus 2 base hunting chance, plus 1 base hunting chance. Navigation is already maxed out. Skulker. More ambush. Survival. More foraging again. Charismatic. Using events, test chance, dexterous, using events, mighty, perceptive. Do we have to have the best character to toughness 2? Strong-minded. Can I have like specialists? So for example, I can have one really perceptive character and she's gonna take all the perception, which means that it could be a waste to give it to others. Anyway, all these guys are mighty and tough dependent. Acrobatic. You can choose whether to move after a successful evade, die hard. When you get down, you have 30% chance to get back up. Or a thick skull. You're immune to stun. Strong-minded and tough. More ambush, more survival, foraging. Hunting seems pretty good. These are cheap. All these guys are cheap. There we go. Okay. Well, now we're gonna have to get her to heal somehow. I'm gonna use some of this medical supply. Crew change plus a Darius minus 1 fighter. We can't afford to pay anything. We have plenty of supplies. 3 days of supplies. We don't have anything we can spend this on. 100% chance to fail. Yeah, okay, we're not gonna get any supplies here. Hey, dude, you have anything to talk about? Ask what he thinks about Avernum and what you expect there. Or ask about the Knights of the Black Sun. Ask him what he plans to do now. Return to Avernum. Right, okay, cool. Well, maybe ask about Avernum. Maybe we can learn something about that. Avernum is an imperial city with a dubious reputation. Of course, enemies of the Empire will always reach for an opportunity to slander its greatness. Yet I must confess that after the ensnarement of the slaughter of my contingent, thanks to the leads gleaned from supposedly trustworthy sources, I shall give more credit to rumors of corruption and treason. Alright. End the day. People are healing. More when they're healing. 1 vitality. 1 medical supply used. Right. 1 more day, I think. Are we almost there? The whole comitatus becomes agitated as dust clouds appear in the east and start to move towards you. You give orders to your crew to prepare for a dust storm. Such a thing is fairly common out here on the border of the searing plains, and you should have little trouble traversing it. Making the necessary arrangements and head on south. After half an hour, the cloud is much closer and is now certain that it will cross your path. By then, everyone is wearing protective masks or bandanas, and all the cargo's equipment are secured. Javik is riding a large beast of burden, having fastened himself to its back, deep in concentration to maintain the calmness of all your animals and with his telepathic skills. But something is off. An uncanny twilight is settling on the broken plains around you. It is much too early for sunset, and the storm itself should not be blot out lights in such a manner. And then you hear it, chanting. Chanting on the wind, in a pale light at the start of the storm, heading your way. You can see the face of your crew slowly becoming distorted in panic. A pale light, heading your way. I don't think we can flee from a storm. Time to fight. I am about to give the order, then Sidarius will also up to you. What is the meaning of this, Vagrus? There is no need for such a desperate act. It's just a dust storm. We just encountered the last pilgrimage earlier. Nonsense, it's just that the pilgrims will show up again or... Sidarius trails off as the eerie twilight falls upon the comitatus, and the dust clouds envelops you all. There's no time to flee or hide, so you signal everyone to draw weapons and stand at the ready. Some of your crew tremble as some are praying, some are about to break, but no Sidarius. The knight walks towards the approaching apparition as if he were possessed by a death wish. You can see Javik frowning and sweating in concentration, though not trying to combat your beast's instinct to flee another terror. In a few moments you can hear the chanting and see the ghastly pilgrims clearly through the dust curtain. Desiccated forms in faded robes, shuffling along the broken terrain, or rather over the terrain somehow, as if floating at a rapid pace. Their vacant faces are illuminated by a dreadful pale light that emanates from their hollow insides. You're paralyzed by terror. Blurred image enter your mind, visions of horrid processions of living dead wearing faded robes. You walk among them, you're one of them. Is this the end? Before they can reach you, the spectral pilgrims turn left and head south along a dried-out riverbed. Without any apparent reason, it takes your mind a few minutes to comprehend that an unusual mercy has just been granted to you and your crew. The last pilgrimage marches on, slowly disappearing into the incredible badlands beyond, taking the ghoulish twilight and the dust storm with them. It takes a few good moments for the crew and yourself to come to your senses. Did this truly happen? What was the reason, if any, for the spectral troop to change direction the last second? How can it be explained by they appeared again after such a short time? Darius walks over to you looking confident, though you can see he's a bit shaken too. Sir Graal is with us. This is an omen if I've ever seen one. My destiny for retribution against the enemies of the Empire must be the reason why these horrors let us be. You sort of nod, yet you are not so certain what had happened in the way it did. Rest assured, Vagrus, as long as you have me by your side, no harm will come to your comitatus. Remember that. Plus 5 insight. Still rattled, but you move along the line, assuring everyone that the danger has passed. With the comitatus moving, you join Javik on the top of the largest beast of burden but you can barely walk. You've never heard of anyone encountering the last pilgrims twice. Somehow you do not feel blessed, haunted more like. After an hour or two, you and your crew fall back in your travel routines, and tonight is all of this will seem much less terrifying. In fact, you should be grateful for avoiding certain death at the hands of these accursed things twice in a row. I have to move on to Avernum. Are we near there? We're getting there. I'd say 2 more days of travel. Not like I know what I'm talking about. Time to hunt. We can't. It's just not gonna happen. Guys, half rationed. We're kind of getting pretty bad here. Morale will drop a bit, but things are pretty bad. And keep healing. Morin got healed. Nice. Okay, tomorrow we can make it to Avernum. No need to hold back on provisions. Can we scavenge? Yeah, we have a chance. I do need supplies if we can get them. How damage are you guys? 5 vitality. 5 vitality. Pretty bad. We got a bit of foragings and some vitality. Are we at Avernum finally? Or one more day? The comitatus climbs a broken ridge and everyone stops for a moment, to taking the grim sight of Avernum, nestled atop and around the range of large hills in the horizon to the southwest. Chimneys and the city's many forges and smelter casts a dark shadow over it, while the lava fields beyond the settlement provide an intense reddish glow as a backdrop. Several crude roads meander among the hills there, probably leading to the mines and quarries you had passed on during the last day or so. Time for us to part ways for a while, Vagrus. The voice of Sidarius makes you jump a little. For a large fellow wearing heavy armor, he managed to creep up on you without a sound. He's standing beside you, gazing at the horizon. I have to make my way into the city alone. My reasons are my own, but before I go, I have a proposition for you. What is it? You are well aware, of course, that my contingents were betrayed in ambush out in the wasteland where we met. During our trek back here, I have come to the conclusion that whoever betrayed us has to be involved in the investigation I led in Avernum before setting out to the city. Even though I have some ideas where I started looking for traitors, the implications are this despicable betrayals are too severe to attempt this to meet it head-on. I require secrecy and guile. Most of my remaining allies in the city and I are too easy to track or recognize, and those responsible could easily make evidence disappear if I'm revealed to be alive. Someone else has to provide that guile for us. After a short pause, he looks you in the eye. What I mean is that you, your friend the mage, and the rest of your crew could be vital into finding the culprit and bring them to justice. The Empire needs you. What do you need? I need someone who is not known to have cooperated with the previous investigation and is not associated with me publicly. I need someone to spy on suspected officials and criminals, while I coordinate the investigation from a hidden base of operations. You, Vagrus, and your crew fit the requirements perfectly. Also, your results were tough since we've met. Ask about what exactly the betrayal implies. It implies the people in high places of Vagrus, possibly the highest in Avernum. It may be that offices of no small importance in the city were corrupted. But do not be disheartened. Sergorod teaches us that such vile sin must be rooted out no matter how high it reaches. Alright. What about the investigation? I do not want to say much here. Suffice to say that I was summoned to the city by elements of authorities there. I was to take part in a series of investigations into abolitionist activities. Yes, Vagrus, do not look surprised. Slave lovers. The despicable activities resulted in a whole group of these ingrates escaping their bonds and devolving into banditry, preying on good citizens of the Empire, on comitati, on people like you and your crew. I and my Sergorite contingent managed to catch quite a few of them with the aid of local authorities, but the liberated tribe itself was out the tribe was out of our reach until we found a lead that followed north. They're outlaw groups that are made up of exclusively or mostly escaped slaves. We can help. For friendship? Yeah, power of friendship. There seems somewhat surprised, but perhaps disappointed even for a brief moment. Then he flashes what passed for a smile on him. Very well, I was indeed nurturing the hope that we'll be willing to aid the Empire in this perilous predicament. We will struggle side by side, just like we did near the Voiceless Lake, Vagrus. I can assure you, the Order of the Black Sun does not forget loyalty and dedication to the Empire. Let us part ways and follow my plan. What's the plan? The plan for now is to make our ways into Avernum separately, so that you won't be associated with me at all. Rest assured that although we do not expect my return, the traitors will be informed at once that I turned up at the city gates. So I have to find an alternate way in. I will send for you once I'm settled in. Someone trustworthy shall appear and guide you to my hideout. We'll talk about your tasks there. You ask him about the belongings of his former comrades. The knight's frowns. That might complicate matters somewhat. Take the holy symbols to the Temple of Surgot quietly. You can get rid of the weapons as you see fit, but I forbid selling them at the market. It will draw too much attention. And we don't want that for now. Sedas pieces you with his gaze. I sincerely hope that I can trust you with this, Vargas. Woe betide you if you do not comply. With that, he takes his leave. A quarter of an hour later, Sidarius is only a speck on the horizon, rapidly approaching Avernum. He's gone.
Dark omens. Ominous apparitions of an otherworldly covenant of spectres. A grim night out for vengeance. Time and coin running out slowly. Yet against all odds, we journeyed to the city of Avernum on the Smoulderbone Flats. A place bustling with travellers, merchants, and lowlifes. It was supposed to be a short stop on our way east, but we got more than we bargained for.
And it looks like things open up next. You know, I think I've seen enough of this. It seems pretty good. I can't speak for the whole experience, but it does remind me a lot of the Sunless games, which I think were really good, so that's nice for us. Well, you know what? I think we'll stop here. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. I don't know yet if it's going to be like a classic masterpiece or anything, but I've had a lot of fun. So, hopefully you guys also going to have fun. Anyway, see ya. Bye-bye.